Hey, welcome to another episode of Powerful on Purpose podcast, where, we're bringing you amazing women who are sharing their story, building businesses, creating movements, and moving mountains, right, to bring their vision and their mission to the world. And today's guest is no exception. So she is coming to us from a fair bit away, South Africa, but it is, and welcome, Jenny Treurnich. I think I might have gotten close to the last name. She might have to correct me on that. But a little bit about Jenny. She's a mindset and embodiment coach and an energy healer. So we're definitely wanting to know how those three things came together, right? But she helps spiritual women align their subconscious beliefs and their conscious desires, regulate their nervous systems, and attune to their soul's wisdom. Boom, this is going to be a powerful episode, everyone. And she does this so that they can create their deepest calling and expand their impact and income from a place of deep inner coherence. I was going to say, I don't know if I could speak for every woman, but I think 90% of the women that I talk to want that place, right? Of where we're building businesses and creating things in the world that are coherent with us. So welcome, Jenny. Super excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us, how did you come to do what you're doing? What was that moment, or maybe a story that you said, I've learned this and this and this, and now I'm going to bring them together?
Well, it was kind of a convoluted path, to be honest. I've done a lot of different things, and I have a science background, science and biology, which I now tap into that and kind of merge the science with the spiritual to ground it. And also science is now catching up with what people have been saying for a very long time. But a little bit of brain science and things like that. So I bring them in. So ironically, that's now come, or not ironically, has come full circle. But I've done various things. And then I was working partly as an energy healer and a craniosacral therapy practitioner. I love hands-on healing, natural therapies. I've been drawn to that for many decades. But I was also working as a freelance editor and science writer. And what I found is I was just on this treadmill, especially in that industry. It's so deadline driven that it was kind of just taking all of my time, and it was pulling me away from what I love to do. So I just got in this pattern of the next thing. What really was the tipping point for me, it was a slow burn of various tipping points, but the final kind of last straw, I was working on this project that, and honestly, the particular publisher and the agent were just really difficult. And it was just actually a nightmare of a job. And they just kept changing parameters, changing it. So you do all this work and then they change it without a thought, without, your nights and your weekends, or just change it. And I remember getting off these Zoom calls repeatedly thinking like, how did my life get to this? And I know we create our own realities. And I was thinking, how and why did I create this? And I'm really done with it. And then it got worse, as things do, as they can do, in that after all of that, I didn't get paid properly for the job. And I actually got cheated out of a whole lot of money. And it was also more than that. I lost kind of faith in what I was doing. I could see with all the changes they were making, they weren't even concerned about the students or the books or the knowledge. It was about enough to whack out the next set of textbooks. It's a large international publisher. And I just felt so done with creating stuff for other people when I didn't believe in what they were doing anymore. And I didn't feel valued. And I was tired of just trading time for money, and not even in a good way, and just being exhausted. And it was a wall. It was like, no more, I'm done. And at the same time, so that was my huge push. But at the same time as all that, I was feeling this pull, this really wanting to step into what I came here to do, to the planet to do. And I felt it's time. It's really, really time to step more deeply into what I'm here to do. And so I was feeling this pull and this hectic push at the same time. And it was like, that's it. Like, universe, I've got the message loud and clear. And yeah, time for a change. So that's it's kind of also what I help women with. Often they're stuck or at a crossroads, or they're just feeling that pull to really step forward and live their best lives. So in either case, or
Right.
sometimes like me, it's both. It's often both.
Right. And I think that story is surely resonating with so many women because I think we can often have different variations of that, right? But we do come to a point in our lives where like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? And what are the values, or what do I want my life to look like?
Yeah. And how do I want time for my actual life? And what am I doing? How am I spending my time? And how's this making me feel? And so it was all of that from a really deep place of, I'm done. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can hear that. And I do talk to so many women, sort of that exhaustion, right? And
Yeah.
the hamster wheel.
Totally.
Right. And it's so interesting that comes up so many times in our conversations because I feel like women went to the workplace. We didn't quite know how that worked. So we adopted this very male structure of hustle and grind. And I personally, like, I can do that if I have to. Do I like to do it? No, it really is not a productive thing for my body. But we don't recognize that, right? Because we still are doing what we think we have to do to be successful. So I always love when women are saying, wait, there's a different way. So talk to
Way.
us a little bit because I'm sure nervous system comes into that. And do
Huge.
you work predominantly with women?
Yeah. I work with women, not like I'm never going to work with men, but predominantly more than 90 whatever percent with women. Yeah. And just on that hustle and grind vibe, yeah, it's very much, it's like you can do it for a certain time period, but not ongoing. You reach a point of no. But also, I think it's very much part of an old paradigm, and that we're now in a new shift on the planet of actually it's collaboration. It's just a different way. That hustle and grind feels so heavy, and it feels like actually that's the past, and we're moving into new ways of doing things that are completely different to that and have more ease and flow and beingness. And I think those still in that space can see that and are really tired of it. Yeah. So you mentioned the nervous system regulation. That's a major part of what I do actually. And part of the process I take people through, the very first part is actually regulate. Biologically, our systems are built for safety. So anything that's new, even if it's exciting or positive change, biologically we actually block it and find ways of stopping that coming in, because safety is how our systems are wired, and it's how things have happened in the past, and it's what we know. So we're stuck in these safety patterns that are actually holding us back, and you can't expand and move forward if your nervous system doesn't feel safe. And what happens as well is that many of us are very stuck in our heads. So we've got these thoughts circulating round and round and round, that we're creating our own stress essentially by all these imaginings and these same thoughts that and things from the past that we're revisiting and recirculating, which then brings up emotion, which has a physical effect in our body, and in some case then leads to disease and illness. But it's that physical stress and those emotions, the emotions themselves actually physically are in the cells of our bodies. So we're keeping these things going, and then the emotions feed again into that loop of the thoughts. So to try and create from that place, or to even figure out what is my next step, what do I really want, is really tricky from that stressful space. So regulating the nervous system really is the first step to get us from that fight, flight, sympathetic nervous system and drop into parasympathetic, into rest, digest, where we can breathe and be and feel that safety. And then there's an openness that comes. If you want, I can give a little quick technique to help with that.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, I'm always curious.
Sure. So there's obviously a lot of nervous system regulation techniques, but very easy, quick kind of hack that works extremely well. And often the things that work really well are very simple, and so they get overlooked, but they work amazingly well, is just to stop, feel your feet on the ground, relax your shoulders, and breathe deeply. And it's being even one conscious breath can change your day. And if you can do a few of them, even better. But the trick as well is breathing out longer than you're breathing in. So it's actually a mechanism biologically that helps switch you over into parasympathetic, into rest and digest. Like if you're being chased by a lion, you're not going to breathe out longer than you're breathing in. It's not going to happen. So it's that it sends that message to your system that you're safe. So breathing in slowly, consciously, and filling your lungs, and then keeping your exhale longer than your inhale. Just that, and consciously being aware of that, not in your thoughts, has a reset.
Right. That's great. And I'm a huge fan of breath work. If anybody's listened to other episodes, like I'm always promoting breath work, right? Because exactly what you talked about, to do it, your mind can't be engaged. And I got the super squirrel brain, right? It's on overload all the time. So to have that capability to breathe, and we don't breathe
We don't breathe.
weirdly, right? Like
People
we
aren't breathing,
breathe.
they're ventilating. They're not breathing.
Exactly. It's such a huge difference when you start breathing and how it'll affect your body. So yeah, I'm a fan. So y'all try out breath work, or even simple nervous system reset can be hugely powerful and move into something else. Yeah. So what do you see as the biggest challenge for women who come to you? I mean, in the sense of asking for help or getting to you, what's that step that prevents them from taking action?
It obviously varies women to women, but I'd say what's in common is, again, that sense of feeling at a crossroads in their lives, feeling frustrated and a little stuck and unsure of the next step, and also overwhelm. There's a lot of overwhelm right now. I mean, just in the world and what's going on. Don't even need to get into that. And things are,
Yeah, that could
so,
be 10 episodes, and we're not
yeah,
going to go down that rabbit hole.
yeah. But it's a lot. And yes, there's ways to distance yourself from things, but also there's a lot going on. And some of it does filter through to us. And then also just the pace of things now is really fast. So there's a lot of overwhelm with a lot of different things. So and a lot of also what I'm finding that a common thread is women not trusting themselves and their next step, because it's hard to listen to your intuition when you're in nervous system overdrive, right? So without that regulation, that first step, the next thing is actually to reconnect, but it's to reconnect with yourself. And that seems to be a major piece that is missing or overlooked a lot, because like the women who come to me, many of them have lost that connection or lost it a lot of the time, because it's like go, 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 busy, busy, busy. So it's regulate, and then to stop and really reconnect with yourself, and you need that stillness to first be able to hear your own wisdom, and for that to drop in, and also to listen to your body. Many people are in a head bubble, essentially living in a head bubble, just thoughts, and as if their thoughts are their whole being. And when you drop your awareness further down and into the central column of your body, it's a completely different space to be and to speak through, and you feel that presence. And then that with the breathing, you can actually hear that wisdom and that intuition and what's coming. And also another common theme which links into this is women who have lost touch with their joy through all these other things that we've just mentioned that are in common. So it's part of that process of the reconnect is what really lights me up, what excites me. And often we're thinking it's the next big thing, but it might be simple things that brought us joy that we used to do, and then we no longer do them, and we don't even know why or when we stop doing them. Like for me, I love painting and I love reading and I love walking in nature, and certainly the painting and the reading. When I was so busy on that hamster wheel, I wasn't doing any of those things. There wasn't even time for them, but I literally had to think back, like, what I really enjoy and when did I stop that? And it's different for each person, but stopping and listening to themselves, reconnecting to their joy, and then getting that inspiration as well of what's my next step.
Right. And yeah, you made a great point about the overwhelm
Yeah.
because it's not only out there, then it becomes inside us as
Yeah.
well, right? And then separating those two, because I think, especially where there's so much online, so much social, we know what's going on everywhere with everyone. And now we see people who have something we think, oh, that would make us happy to do X or to be X, right? And yet, what I'm hearing you say, and what I found is if you can get back to that place of finding the intuition, sometimes it's like a total rejection of that outward thing we thought was attractive, or that somebody's trying to sell us that they think we need, right?
Yeah, it's like looking for external validation instead of what's within. And when you really deeply listen to what's within, you know what it is, and you know what feels right that's external, what feels right and connected and what doesn't. Because if you're just in the head bubble charging ahead, you'll get those feelings, you'll get that feedback that, oh, this doesn't feel right. But if you're really charging ahead and really in that head bubble only, you won't even really pick that up. You won't take the time to go, why does this feel wrong? It'll just be, everyone's doing that, I must do that. And so this part of this process is actually reflective of what's my truth.
Absolutely. And creating that awareness to, wait a minute, I need to stop and check in with myself, right? Instead of just jamming ahead. And because that has been our mode of operation. And I hope, like you said at the first, that it really is changing. I see some of it, and I still see people holding on that story of hustle and grind. And it really is a story we've created, a story we've told ourselves, a story we still, some of us still want to believe in, that will get us somewhere.
It's hard to let go of. These stories have been around, in some cases our whole lives and in many lives, and also just collectively in the
Right.
field, and especially collectively for women, of this is how you've got to be and you've got to do all the things. And why, when did we decide we've got to do all the things and be superwoman at it?
Right? Because nobody's standing there applauding us for doing that necessarily, right? Yeah, I'm like, why? You're right. That's why are we doing it? Because it's not only, yeah, but it's still that perpetuation.
Yeah.
Cool. This has been so great. So what piece of advice would you give to a woman who's listening to this podcast?
That she already has the answers within, to trust herself, to really first do that regulation and then go within and then really trust yourself, trust your own wisdom rather than the external. And then the next piece, of course, is actually taking that aligned step. Often we think if we're making new change or what should I do next, we want a whole map and all the details and all the steps. Otherwise, we don't take a step. And then what happens is we freeze and we stay in the same old. Whereas the trusting yourself is literally, it's looking out for what's my next aligned step and then taking that step. Because the things first come in on the energetic plane, it's ideas, but we need to bring them in and make them concrete in the 3D and actually take a step of aligned action. Can be a small thing, can even just be saying no to something and taking that step. So yeah, that was a long answer, but trust yourself, listen, trust yourself, and take that concrete, small aligned step. And then new wisdom comes in and new steps present. And then as you get momentum with that process, opportunities come, and you, like, things you could never have figured out in the beginning when you're trying to have the map to take the step. It's very much a process of trust as well.
Right. Yeah, I love that. And I think baby steps. We're
Baby
always talking
steps.
about baby steps here, right? Just take one baby step, take the
Yeah.
next one and the next one. And
Yeah.
like, I always like to squirrel off just a little bit because you said something about intuition. And do you find, because I've found this, that once you start listening to your intuition, it's a nagger. Holy moly. There are times I don't listen right off the bat. I'm getting better. But then it's like constantly rah, 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 in my head.
And you get better at tuning into it. If you've had a lifetime of tuning it out, it's going to take a little time to dial that back in and first reset the nervous system, take those deep breaths, create that space, and things come. And also, often people doubt what does come in. It's usually the first things that come in, and the first thoughts are pure intuition. and then trust that.
Cool. Well, I know you have a free gift for the audience, your Path to Fulfillment and Purpose quiz. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what people would get if they chose to get that?
Sure. It's a quiz that it highlights different areas of your life. It's not in a wheel or anything like that. It's just questions to get you thinking about different aspects of your life, of where you might really be in flow and resonance and where not. Because sometimes it's different to what we think until we really look at it. And it's not a case of just whiz through the questions. It's to really think about each one and come up with the most resonant felt answer. It's numbered, in a scale to show where you're really in alignment and where you might not be. Just kind of shines a light on things. So it's quite a nice starting off process.
Cool. Very good. Well, you will definitely want to grab that, people. And where are you hanging out online, or where can people get in touch with you if they wanted to? I mean, obviously through the free gift.
Yeah, through the free gift. My website, essentially, I am on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. My Instagram is a little newer, but it's where I'm hanging out quite a bit now. And also I have a YouTube channel.
Spot, a little negotiation. You saw it right here.
Well, all good. Yeah, people are welcome to reach out to me. I do one-on-one coaching, and I'm also, what's really juicy for me now is I'm busy in the final stages of putting together my mastermind for spiritual women. So that's bringing me a lot of joy and excitement. So yeah, people are welcome to reach out to me.
Well, very nice. That's lovely. Yeah. And thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure and a delight to get to know you and know how your story is shaping your world and other people's worlds.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you. It's been lovely
All right.
chatting to you, Ron. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, be sure and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more conversations. You never know where we're headed, but we are always talking to powerful women who are using their story to change the world for better. And in my opinion, we need a lot of that right now.